Hi, everyone. Lisa Resnick. I am here with Dave Hardy, Pillar to Post Home Inspections. How are you, Dave?
Good morning. Good, Lisa. How are you?
Good. So, figured this would be a great time. I mean, the residential market, even though I'm in commercial, I definitely get hit up a lot about the residential market and how everything is going. Um, and I do want to do my little spew, of course, about still the significance of home inspections and things that you can find that making sure that people are aware when it's waived in a market like this, that still doing the due diligence, especially as a first time homeowner, is a significant part of the process when purchasing a property. I even think Rebecca Rouser, Howard Hanna mentioned it last week about the speed of the transaction and making sure we're not missing some vital steps along the way.
Yeah, in fact, I watched that with Rebecca. That was very well done. I enjoyed it. She did a great job, and she did say that. Yeah, things are moving. Things are just moving crazy fast right now. It's a totally different market than what we're used to, for sure.
But it's amazing because everybody's like, oh, the market's so great. And it's like, yes, but inventory is so low that
Right.
if you're a buyer's agent and you're out there, you might be writing offers. I think we just mentioned this, a million
Sure.
plus dollars, and yet none of them are accepted right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can see the stress. We can hear the stress every day on the agents' faces, on the buyers' faces. God, I just hope this goes well because, we've been beat out of so many houses and we've been rejected on so many offers. And you can tell the difference from when things are normal and just busy or right now where just everybody is so stressed
I
because the
know.
market, they do say, yeah, it's great right now. It's a seller's market, but it's a challenge to for the buyers. I feel bad for a lot of these buyers. When you meet them in the driveway, you can just see the stress.
I completely agree because obviously not only are the prices of these homes escalating,
Yeah.
but the actual number of inventory just doesn't seem to be hitting the mark for the amount of buyers that we have out there.
Right. And people ask me about that. I mean, that's not my expertise. That's the agent's expertise, and I don't understand it. But I don't know why. I don't know why we have such a shortage. But again, you hear from people, and they say, I've been looking for 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. I've made offers on two or three. I've been beat out of all of them. I had a gentleman last week that I met in the driveway, and you give him your driveway speech, and you tell him how you're going to do the inspection, and he holds up his hands and he goes, "Listen, I'm essentially homeless in 10 days. Unless you tell me this house is falling over, I'm buying it because my house sold the day it was on the market. I was outbid on four other houses, and I finally got one, and I'm buying it." So, I mean, it's funny, but it's also a little frightening that people are under that much duress trying to do all this.
This is true because let's face it, purchasing a home is not inexpensive. It's one of the top purchases you make in your life.
Right. I mean, I think very few people will spend more money on anything than their home. So the problem right now, and the thought of people waiving inspections and waiving appraisals to win that house is just crazy to me. Obviously, it's our business, but I also understand that some people feel like they don't have any choice.
Yes,
And that's just a terrible spot to be in, I think, to have that much pressure that you have
I
to make that
agree.
kind of a decision.
I agree completely. And one of the reasons why I love you and love working with you
Thank you.
is the fact it's like not only are you honest and was it forthright or
Forthright.
yeah, and
Yep,
what
you got it.
there we go, and what you do, but I mean you also have that level of expertise, especially on the electrical end when you are going through these homes.
Yeah, we kind of I would say we would excel on the electrical end. I've been in the building trades. I'm almost 60 years old. I've been in the building trades for 40 years. I started out in maintenance and construction superintendent. Went on, I worked for a local carrier HVAC dealer and did carrier HVAC for, I think it was about 4 years. Went, luckily enough, got into the electrician's apprenticeship program, became a journeyman electrician, did that 25 years, taught that in school for 21 years. And 40 years later, here I am. So, I mean, I think we've got a very broad background where, we understand the construction process, we understand the HVAC, and obviously we excel at the electrical.
So what's the craziest story that you can tell us?
I was just going to say the craziest one. I can only tell you someday in private. But there's two that jump out right off the bat. Did a vacant house, had been empty for a long time, rural farm type property, had all kinds of stuff stored in the garage. Noticed shed snake skins around the garage. Now, obviously, we don't have what I would consider an abundance or a whole bunch of poisonous snakes as far as I can realize, but nevertheless, it raises your awareness. So all of a sudden, when you are kneeling on the garage floor and you're bending down and you're kind of trapped in a corner to try and get this door to raise and you can't, and out of the corner of your eye, you see a 6 to 8 foot snake coiled up in the corner looking at you like, hey, dude, how are you? That was probably took 5 years off my life. I literally froze and couldn't move because the snake was 2 feet from my arm because I'm trying to force this door up. That was more of a frightening thing. The funniest thing ever, quickly, I had a fourplex, was doing it. Yep, it's empty. Everybody's out. No worries. 2 units are occupied. Two are empty, and everybody's out of the house. No problem. Got into the second unit, went down the hallway. All the doors were closed. Didn't think much of it. Start like you've seen me do on home inspections. I open the doors. I turn on all the lights. We have a system. And I knocked on this door because I always knocked on this door in the occupied unit. Nobody answered. I swung the door open. A lovely foreign lady who didn't speak English.
Oh no!
Springs up out of bed, starts screaming in a language that I don't understand. She's screaming. I'm screaming. She has a toddler and a baby in the bedroom. They're screaming because everybody's just utterly terrified. She had no idea we were there, what we were doing. She thinks I'm an intruder. She just scared me more than anything, I guess. Afterwards it was funny, but it wasn't funny at the moment.
No,
so,
neither of those. Those are both
crazy,
very scary.
Just crazy stuff. So I mean, we see a lot. We see a lot of things that you just, but those are probably the two most memorable, between the snake and the woman that was asleep in her bedroom. So,
as routine as your job is when you go and inspect these homes, there's nothing mundane about it.
Oh my God. We have a young man, Vince, that's been working with us for 2 years now, and he says it all the time as he's learning the business. I just would have never guessed. And I think what I love about this so much is it changes every day, was his comment. I mean, that's what attracts me too, is because it's new people every day, new locations, new homes. But on the flip side of that, some of what's new and some of what we see, I wish we didn't. But we're all different. We all live differently. Let's put it that way.
100%. You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
What you see on the street, once you get inside, maybe two totally different things.
100%. So tell us a little bit about the significance out there for everyone of making sure that you have a home inspection done.
Well, I think, again, like we said a moment ago, it's probably one of the most 90% of the people, I'd say it's probably the most expensive purchase you ever make. So I think to get caught up in the moment of waiving it and not getting a home inspection, just if you step back and you catch your breath and you take it all in, may not be wise. There's just so many things. We are already starting to do what I call post remorseful inspections. We've already gotten some phone calls. People waived the inspection, said your name was on the list of that my agent originally gave me, or my agent gave me your name. We're starting to move in, and I'm seeing some things that are really frightening to me.
Yep.
Did one a couple weeks ago. Probably $40,000 minimum between a foundational wall that was caving in, two masonry chimneys that needed totally rebuilt up on the roof, and an electrical system that was put in that was supposedly new, but nowhere near done the right way. And I felt bad. The gentleman was appreciative, but he had that look on his face like, what did I do here? What did I get myself into? And I think it's kind of like anybody that's ever gone to an auction and you see all the excitement and people hold up their numbers and, oh my God, I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta win.
This
And then
is why I
afterwards,
avoid them.
yeah, after you and me both. And afterwards, you're looking at this thing that you bid on, and you're like, I can't believe I just paid X for this.
I
And
know.
that's what we're seeing from some of these buyers, or we're getting these phone calls that they're not, real happy. There's so many things that you overlook. Let's face it, you go into a home, you look at it, you have 20 minutes. If you're lucky, you have a half an hour and you're writing an offer. The whole process is just so overwhelming. I just think it's imperative that you have that extra set, or in our case, where there's two of us, a couple extra pairs of eyes. How many times, Lisa, have you taken a customer or you've walked through and every time you go in or every time you change a direction, you see something that you didn't see the time before? Because
100%.
there's
That
just so
happens
much
every
there's
time.
just so much to take in. There's
It's
just so much there.
every time that happens. And
Right.
and you're right. Like the way that things are going right now, buyers are in and out within 5-10 minutes of these properties, and they're back at the office writing the offers with the
Right.
agent. And I will say, on the residential agent side, as much as we may know, because we do listen to the inspectors during the inspections and
Mm-hmm.
everything, we still don't have the schooling or expertise within these fields that you guys have gone through to be able to say whether or not the heating and cooling system's working,
Right.
if the breakers on the panel match up brand wise, like all those different things that we should not be speaking of because we haven't had the schooling for it.
Right. And it's a lot of liability for everybody involved. And you bring up another good point too, is that even if there's nothing significantly wrong with your home, or nothing that you catch initially, the one thing that we do is we're going to give you the information. We're going to tell you that your furnace is only 7 years old, and you're good for another 15 or 20 years, depending on the age of the furnace. We're going to say, this is coming up to its life expectancy. It may look fine. It may work fine. The air conditioner could be on. The house is nice and cool and all that. But that thing's 23 years old. So you need to set your budget. We tell people that your shingles are half worn or 3/4 worn, and start saving your nickels and dimes, because you're going to need a roof in 5 years, or you're going to need a furnace in 10 years. So again, even if there's not something wrong that's visually obvious, we're giving them the information to hopefully help them manage and budget down the road, because most home buyers today, they look at a roof and they know if a shingle's torn off, but they don't know how much life is on it. Or they look at a furnace, and if it's clean and shiny, they think it's okay. And we give them a label number and the information. They go, seriously, that thing's 20?
Yep.
It is. The people kept it really clean. It was a clean house. So the woman washed down her furnace too, but it's 20 years old. So we give them a lot of good budget information also, and maintenance tips and ways to get it to that point, to extend the life. We'll tell buyers, things that are imperative to get them to get the most out of their money, so to speak.
That is 100. I was about to mention the whole preventative maintenance when you talked about the shiny HVAC systems, but it is.
Yeah.
Like, you should be performing the preventative maintenance on all this equipment as well. It's part of home ownership. Right. And I also want to mention that I remember coming into this market and sellers doing the pre-inspection before they put homes on the market. Obviously, times are different. It is a seller's market. So sellers aren't more apt to put that expense down for people who are previewing their home. But it's good to know for all those buyers out there that did get pushed through the process and now they're in the home, that your services are still available to them, for you to have that inspection even after closing. I mean, I like it because it's a generalized document that does give you the age of all the equipment. If you are budgeting for the future and expenses that you have, or just little things that need to be addressed in the home.
That right now are just maintenance versus a problem if they're ignored.
Yes. So I do like the idea that people can still reach out to you afterwards.
Right.
So they can get that playbook of their home.
No, I mean, I think, especially in our area, the pre-inspection is one of the most underused tools, with you as an agent and us as an inspection company that consumers have available to them. I have certain agents that every property they list, we do a pre-inspection for.
Yep.
And it just, the agent always says the same thing. It just makes the whole transaction go smoother. There's less apprehension, because typically the buyers are the same. If we do an inspection and a buyer says, oh, the inspector said the kitchen faucet is bad and it needs replaced. Well, the typical buyer says, well, just tell them to take $1,000 off the price and I'll get it fixed myself.
Yes.
Sounds good, except a really nice faucet is probably $250 and it takes a plumber an hour and a half to change it. We're nowhere near $1,000. No. So that's our point is what I tell people all the time with the pre-listings is you eliminate as many of those little red flags as you can. And if you decide to share that pre-inspection with a prospective buyer, the buyer has a lot better feeling saying, okay, this person genuinely appears to be trying to present a quality product. They took care of their home. They had it pre-inspected. They fixed, 4 out of the 10 things on this list that were big items, and the rest of the things are more personal preference, maybe that people should pick out on their own. But it just gives a better overall feeling, and most agents that use it say it just gets them to closing much easier. Again, not in our market, but as most of you know, pillar to post is all over the United States, and there's a lot of the franchise owners that I talk with. It's 50% of their business, out west in certain areas. Like I have a son that lives in Phoenix. It's very, very big out there to do pre-listing. Yeah. It just makes things easier for everybody involved. So it's a good tool, not used enough, but it's a very good tool.
So for all those buyers out there or sellers that are looking to get a home inspection, how do they get in touch with you?
330-286-1302. You can call our business line, normal business hours. If we're here, even after business hours, we'll answer. We answer on the weekend as best we can. But that's absolutely the best way is call the business line, and we will get you scheduled or get you any information you need to see if you need scheduled. I have a lot of people that call right now, and they want me to convince them to get a home inspection. They're on the fence. They don't know what to do. And you and I have known each other long enough, Lisa. I'm not a pushy person.
No.
I'm pretty cut and dry. There's no gray area. It's straight down the middle. I just state the facts. I don't say anything that I can't back up. And we do the same thing on the phone. I just give people the facts. I say what we just said, here this morning. It's the biggest purchase you're going to make. I can't tell you what to do or what works for your financial situation, but we think it's very important. So
I do too. I definitely do. So thank you very much for coming on The Real Tea.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
All right, go have fun at your next home inspection.
Oh yeah, we're off.
Watch out for the snakes.
Yeah, exactly. Once in my life is enough for that. I can't take much of that.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. I'll see you later.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.